Every time I interview somebody, I'm trying to figure out what makes them tick and ensure that you get something of value out of the conversation. So a lot of times I'm really listening, I'm really taking notes, and that's why you'll see a lot of times that I kind of refer back to something that they've mentioned. My most recent interview was with a lady named Princella. She's known as the Queen Maker, and it was such an inspiring conversation. During our conversation, which you can find on YouTube, and I'll make sure that I link the full conversation here, but one of the things that stood out to me was just how resolute this woman was. And after going back and listening to the interview again, there were 5 things that I took away that I'll need to share with you because they are really important to life. Now, these 5 things are in no particular order, but personally, I believe that they are important to business and life. So with that being said, let's dive in. The power of systems. During my conversation with Princella, one of the things that she revealed that of all of the things that she had gone through, from the army to building a business to working jobs, was that she started noticing different systems. And no matter where she went, she would recognize the fact that everything had a system internally built into it. She also made the comment that for many of us, we don't systematize our lives. So unfortunately, that's why things just are always happenstance. Progress is hard when you don't understand exactly the next step. And to me, a part of having a good system is the fact that the byproduct is discipline. A system for how you eat, a system for when you're working out, a system for connecting with your family, a system for getting things done around the house, a system for communicating, a system for tackling big decisions. And here's the interesting thing. If you get really good at improving on those systems instead of throwing everyone out that doesn't work 100% of the time, what you find out is that you can actually create a lot of progress by just getting better little by little, by improving and tweaking the system and sticking with it long enough. If you think about how a business is big today, it didn't start big. It started with little small systems and tweaking over time. Stephen Covey once said, "Your systems are perfectly designed to get the results you are getting." Which means if you don't like the results you're getting, you got to look at the current system you have in place in the many different areas of your life and start tweaking the system to get better results. Hey, I wanted to let you know that I am literally giving you everything for less than $100 a month. Let me explain what I mean by everything. I'm going to give you the full focus framework. You'll get access to our members area. I'm even giving you our 31-day video series. I'm also throwing in the Side Hustle Secrets course. And you're going to get access to the group coaching and Q&A. Oh, I'm not done. I'm going to also give you access to the Side Business Accelerator. And just to make this even sweeter, I'm going to give you 20% off all of our live events. Now that's $17,000 worth of value that you will literally get for $97 a month. Get access to the accelerator and the Side Hustle Secrets, all for you. Click the link below, join the program, and man, let's get that side business profitable right now. Let's get back to the episode. Number 2, learning the basics and human connection. You know, while we were in this conversation, she mentioned that building a business entity is the same as building a human. And even when you have a business, especially a side business that's like from 0 to 3 years old, what does it take? It takes a lot of nurturing, a lot of hand holding, a lot of doing for the baby or the business, which means you have to be willing to be all in. There's no mother that brings a baby home from the hospital and gives the baby 20%. You have to be all in. All the nursing, all the diaper changes, all the waking up, all the stuff. Well, that's what it takes to actually build a proper business. And I think sometimes what we forget is that there's got to be a real connection between the nurturing side of what we ultimately want this thing to create for us of a life, and also the side that says, you know what, I got to be patient and give time to allow those things to grow. I think with social media, and because we watch everybody's quick results or what seem to be quick results, we think that when we start something, it's just supposed to happen immediately. Yes, a lot of people post a bunch of abnormalities, but what they don't tell you is it probably took about 10 years before that abnormality became a reality. And the other thing I took away from this conversation is that I realized nurturing takes patience. This is why that a lot of times as men, when we lead certain companies, we tend to cause a lot of crash and burn because of our ego. And to be truthful, that's why there's women who will step up into a CEO position and be able to really run a business, because women are default nurturers. Guys, we need to work at that. Studying human behavior and understanding auric psychology. I mean, even if you just look at it for the basic understandings of how it works and why it works, it'll really help us understand the human condition and show you the correlation between that and really building you a great side business. Robin Sharma once said that the business of life is human connection. And I think that anytime that we are starting a side business or we're trying to grow it, you and I cannot remove ourselves from the need to connect with other humans. Hiring them inside of the business, contractor, full-time, whatever the case may be, you and I are going to need more than just ourselves to be able to grow a profitable side business. Hey, I wanted to let you know that I am literally giving you everything for less than $100 a month. Let me explain what I mean by everything. I'm going to give you the full focus framework. You'll get access to our members area. I'm even giving you our 31-day video series. I'm also throwing in the Side Hustle Secrets course. And you're going to get access to the group coaching and Q&A. Oh, I'm not done. I'm going to also give you access to the Side Business Accelerator. And just to make this even sweeter, I'm going to give you 20% off all of our live events. Now that's $17,000 worth of value that you will literally get for $97 a month. Get access to the accelerator and the Side Hustle Secrets, all for you. Click the link below, join the program, and man, let's get that side business profitable right now. Let's get back to the episode. Here's number 3, recognizing patterns and predicting outcomes. Now, this was a fascinating part of our conversation because I've never really heard someone out loud share the fact that seeing patterns in a lot of different disciplines is what helped them really change the way they saw life. Now, in the interview, you'll learn that she's a United States Army veteran. She also went to school and studied molecular biology. She's got like a background in leadership discipline and behavior, and she's climbed the ranks inside of the military. And so her understanding on how we work as a human cellular level all the way up to the psychology of ourselves is pretty astounding. But in our conversation, one of the things that she talked about is that she noticed from every different walk of life that she would experience, she started noticing these patterns. And I think for too many times, we've lived our lives knowing that there was a pattern, but we wanted to either fight against it or just remain ignorant to it. And I thought it was just fascinating to be able to have a conversation. And she's saying, no, I recognize them, but now I'm starting to see them in a way that can be beneficial for my life. And then she took it a step further, because the great part about this was to know that not only once you start to be able to predict an outcome, you get it because you start to recognize the pattern. If you see a pattern over and over and over again, well, then eventually you can start to predict the outcome. If you talk to counselors, psychologists, and therapists, they will tell you that through the hundreds of people that they've talked to, they notice certain patterns. Business leaders will also tell you that they recognize patterns in their industry as a whole. Parents know patterns of their children. Nature has patterns. There are patterns every single place that we go. And so what we do know is that if we start to pay attention to those patterns create outcomes. Those outcomes become predictable. If you think about even the weather has patterns. And the only way we're able to get a forecast is based on predictive models that come from what they know about the past and being able to put those models together and say, hey, based on what we know, here's the potential outcome of the weather today and next week. Or with this pressure that's going on in this particular part of tropical depression, well, we know that once this happens, this is the type of thing that we'll get. We'll get from a tropical depression to an actual hurricane. Patterns are everywhere, and it's really important that we start to pay them attention. Don't ignore the pattern just because we don't want to deal with it. Acknowledge the pattern, and then if you don't like it, be willing to say, do I want to make a change, or do I need to remove myself from this particular pattern? Now, number 4 is really cool because it comes with growing yourself and your business. Now, remember earlier I mentioned that in this interview, one of the things Princella pointed out is that building an entity is like building a human, right? Well, I promise you, if I go talk to a million more CEOs and thought leaders around the world, and I asked them about their business for where it is today and where it started, I guarantee you they are not in the same place from where they started. That simply just means they had continued to grow in order to be able to grow the business. Because for all of us, the lid of life is wherever we're not willing to grow and make changes in order to make our businesses beyond what we could even control. And beyond our control is really important because for many of us, we're building businesses because we want to be in control of our financial picture. We want to be in control of our future. But here's the problem. What happens when that business starts to actually grow? Well, now you got to give up control to a CMO. Now you got to give up control potentially to the CFO. Now you got to give up control to social media people. Now you got to give up control to different people. And what you realize is the thing that I was fighting for control for, actually, I needed to be giving control away, and I need to learn how to be able to lead others, not just lead myself and be a solo, which, by the way, all of this is a part of the entrepreneurship journey. So what I've realized is that becoming more aware of where I fall short or what's not working or where I see limitations is just another area where I have to be also willing to accept the only reason why that's a limitation is because I personally have not been willing to let go of something or learn a particular skill set or let it go long enough to give it to somebody else to do better than I would. Hey, I wanted to let you know that I am literally giving you everything for less than $100 a month. Let me explain what I mean by everything. I'm going to give you the full focus framework. You'll get access to our members area. I'm even giving you our 31-day video series. I'm also throwing in the Side Hustle Secrets course. And you're going to get access to the group coaching and Q&A. Oh, I'm not done. I'm going to also give you access to the Side Business Accelerator. And just to make this even sweeter, I'm going to give you 20% off all of our live events. Now that's $17,000 worth of value that you will literally get for $97 a month. Get access to the accelerator and the Side Hustle Secrets all for you. Click the link below, join the program, and man, let's get that side business profitable right now. Let's get back to the episode, which leads us to number 5, which was just a great way to cap off our conversation. Embracing your creative side as a woman. Yes, ladies, now I will tell you, my wife knows that I have been a huge advocate of her becoming more and more out loud, more and more bold, because I just personally believe that it is time that women step up and really start taking over in a lot of different areas of life. I'm that guy. I support it. I love when I see women just being bold, no matter whether it's sports, in business, in personal life, in relationships. I just think it's kind of dope. Princella made an interesting comment during our conversation, and I thought it was very interesting. And she talked about, as men, if we don't stop our egos, we are literally going to kill off every single man that we know. And she said, think about it. How many wars are started by women? Man, that's a really great point. And I think at times, what we've got to learn to be able to do is step back and realize that, number one, not every guy is your competition. Number two, even if they are, we should be working in competition to be able to make each other better as opposed to destroying each other in the process of competition. Now, I don't know about you and whenever you found this video, but it's very true that many of us grew up in a survival's world, survivor's mentality. And so unfortunately, even though we might be doing okay today, we're still operating with that survivor's mentality. We build a business and we go, oh no, I got to crush you and I got to crush the guy down the street and I got to crush this person because I got to be the only one. And what you tend to realize is that the way you operate will start to seep into every single thing that you do. And the truth is you might alienate yourself from some really great people and great relationships if, as men, we don't get control of our egos. I personally think the beauty of having my wife, the beauty of having God give us a woman in our world that we care about, that we love, that we just can't, do without, is the fact that it gives us a reason to pause when we think and allow our carnal minds or the ego to try to take over just because maybe we're in a winning season, or the opposite is happening. We're kind of in a struggling season, and I realize even for myself, the worst thing to do when you're in a struggling season is to make rash decisions because of your ego, to lash out, to do things that doesn't make good long-term sense. And sometimes the only reason why we do that is because we're either hurting or we're in survival mode or we're probably doing both. Ladies, your help with us as men is one of the most important roles as a parent, as a mother, as a wife, because we at times will lose our way because we haven't yet controlled for ourselves the ego that tends to get in our way from even achieving the things that we all want. Shout out to a gentleman named Jason Wilson, who's been one of the advocates that I've seen for the last at least 10 years or so, really advocating for men to learn how to become their full selves. And that was one of the things that she and I talked about even during the episode. But ladies, I tell you, just if you never heard it from any guys, listen, you are important. It is really important work that you do, not only for yourselves, but I think it's definitely time. If you've been shooting for that next rung on the corporate ladder, you need to go after it. If you're saying to yourself, it's time for me to, step out and be my own person and leave this corporate role and start my business, I believe in you. I think the more opportunities that we have and that we highlight in this world where women are taking the reins and bringing a unique creative element to the way business is done, I think it's just better for all of us. So listen, those are the 5 things that I got from this episode. If you want to hear the full conversation, this is in the description below. I've put the link. Go grab it. Go listen to it. It was a powerful conversation. But for this Massive Action Monday, listen, make sure you embrace these 5 things. Understanding the power of systems, learning the basics of human connection, learn to recognize patterns so you can predict outcomes, grow yourself so that way you can grow the business, and finally, embrace your creative side, ladies, because it's really important. Hey, so if you've experienced or recognized a pattern in your life that really has led you to success, share it down in the comments below, because I just think it was such a great conversation to be able to have, and I'd love to be able to hear your story. Hey, if you enjoyed this Massive Action Monday, do me a favor. I want to make sure everybody get access to the same thing you do. Well, guess what? The best way you could do that, leave us a review, give a like, share, or subscribe. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, I would appreciate not only the review, but also follow us on whatever your favorite audio platform is. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode.